Welcome to We Solve Problems with your host, James D. Bennett II. In each episode, we'll share educational insights to motivate manufacturers to innovate. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on www.innovativsolutions.org. Now here's the host of We Solve Problems, James D. Bennett II.
Good morning, and welcome to the We Solve Problems podcast, where we inform about the existing technology, the trend of the R&D for that technology, and the financial incentive to help mitigate risk of innovation. I'm your host, James Bennett. Today we're talking about the prototypes for Inventions with Ms. Onega Ulanova, who is co-founder and partner at Louisiana's new product development team. Ms. Ulanova, could you give us a brief summary of your background, please?
Oh, definitely. So, as you can hear, I'm not originally from America. I was born and raised in Kazakhstan, where myself and my partner went to university to get our mechanical engineering degrees. Then, Louisiana Tech University, our alma mater here in the United States, invited both of us to get our degrees. So I graduated with two degrees from Louisiana Tech University. One of them was Masters of Engineering and Technology Management, and the second one was Executive MBA. While my partner was working on his PhD in Material Science and Structures. So at that time, we started a student organization. It had the same name, LA New Product Development Team, where we worked with university staff as well as local business community to develop their ideas. So it was a student organization. We had around 40 members and all from various backgrounds. Um, we then realized that it might be a good business opportunity, but we needed capital. That's why I went to work initially for a small manufacturer in oil field, after which I joined American Petroleum Institute as auditor, while my partner was doing his research and development duties at DXP. It's like a huge pump manufacturing company. In 2016, when we already got our capital, we decided to go full with a new product development and opened our doors in Shreveport, Louisiana. Since then, I would say we work on over 800 products, build prototypes, and help to launch those. So it's just a little bit quick story of our journey here.
Very good. And that's why I brought you on as a guest today, and why I believe it's important to hear what you have to say. To put today's podcast into context, after settling on or discovering a winning concept, and possibly during the patenting process, prototype development is the next step in product development. In this phase, you will transform your drawings and CAD models into physical objects before testing them for form and function. Prototypes are a great way to showcase your ideas, test concepts, refine your design, and garner attention from investors. In this podcast, we cover some things you should know about prototypes. Prototypes can come in different forms, whether it's a simple model that you put together yourself, a 3D printout, or a highly refined version produced by a prototyping firm. Several prototypes are likely to be built, assessed, and tested before a product comes to market. Prototyping lets you correct design faults, get feedback from potential customers on your product's performance, give potential investors an idea of what your product looks like and what it can do, and ultimately help you to attract funding. Here to discuss the prototyping process and more is Ms. Ulanova. Ms. Ulanova, to start today's dialogue, can you tell us what is a prototype? Just define what a prototype is and why do you need to make a prototype? Why would an inventor or a product developer need to make a prototype?
Prototype is the first time when you meet in reality your dream. So when will it be a B2B or B2 government or inventor coming up with a new product, improved product, or even an app? Prototype is when you actually can interact with it and see if it's doable, if it's feasible, what else can be improved or modified upon. So prototype is a huge step when, as I mentioned, you see it in the physical world, your idea, your product, and you actually test it. Without testing, you might not see some things you can improve, remove, add. So it's a crucial step when you further advance your idea and prepare for the manufacturing. What also worth to note that when you are building, like for instance, if a person already solid that they want to see this prototype the way they see it, prototyping can also help you to reduce further cost down the road when you will manufacture it. Because during the prototyping and the assembly work, you will be able to notice more of things which can be improved to reduce further manufacturing and assembly cost. So prototyping is a huge and the most important aspect of any product development because without it, most of the product will fail on the market or fail during the use because you can't simulate or oversee or think through all the details. So sometimes it's better build 5 prototypes versus spending 2 weeks thinking and playing with visualization or simulation programs.
I see. Well, that's a good overview. Very good overview. Now, when we talk about prototypes, a lot of times most people think only in one mindset, and I like to say a Frankenstein type prototype, something that have moving arms, legs, head, etc. But there are different types of prototypes, aren't there? So can you take us through, walk us through the different types of prototypes there are out there?
That is a great question. So, as you mentioned, there are several types of prototypes, and people who usually come to us, they always have a Frankenstein in most cases. So, that is when a person, especially tinker, put together the idea, the product utilizing off the shelf components. This prototype usually we call it do-it-yourself or DIY prototype. Uh, it's a great way to represent the idea, but then you need to do all the engineering work and proper prototyping before you will invest in the manufacturing. If the goal of the project is just to realize the product, the idea, have product enhance, and that's it, you're good. But if a person, a company, inventor wants to actually grow the company and build a business around it, then they need to build uh, first a look-alike prototype. Look-alike prototype is a prototype when all the visual features of the product will be developed or prototype. That is when all the usability of a product, colors, textures can be tested and approved upon. The second prototype is work-like prototype. Uh, if your device has more advanced mechanical or electrical feature, it would be a good idea to start with work-like prototype. Here you test if uh, technology or mechanisms or like all the things engineers done actually work, if they work properly and how this could be improved upon. If all the uh, key points will be velocity, I don't know, speed, vibration up to the standard. If not, then you will work on the second prototype. The third one is like both when you merge or marry look like and work like prototype to prepare for the actual manufacturing. On average, with any product, uh, need to have at least 2 to 3 prototypes, because after the first one, again, how many and how great simulations you will do on your computer, you still will have things to improve upon. So it's always a good idea to have two, but the best to have at least three prior to working on the design for manufacturing and sending it to a manufacturer. Let's remember the Davison, right? How many prototypes he built? 150? Yeah.
Okay, I see. So during this prototyping process, I know you don't get it right the first time. Sometimes it's going to be crude. Sometimes it's going to function. You might get it right on even the first time. But tell us, do you need to make more than one prototype? And if so, why? Why is it necessary to make more than one prototype?
As I mentioned earlier, that during the first prototyping stage, even and in most cases, it works as you envisioned. You will notice things you need to improve. So prototyping is a stage when you improve your idea, when you make sure that it conforms in the best way possible for you, for your end user, or just overall. So number one is you always find things how you can improve technical performance. Number two, you always find how you can make the product more user friendly. We live in a world when there is huge competition and user experience is must. Otherwise, you will develop a product, you will manufacture it, and it will stay there in warehouse or in the shelf, the best. So these two as a minimum. So you always find things which you need to improve from a technical or user perspective.
I see. Okay.
So, and the more the merrier, but not always. So sometimes inventors especially can find themselves in a trap by always wanting to improve things. You need to find that middle ground. There is no thumb rule or like magical number when you say like I built that many prototypes, I'm ready to go to market. So you need to know your market, feel your market, talk with your end users. So don't play too much of the inventor, too much of the prototyping, because there is always um, balance between perfection and speed to market.
That's good. That's good insight. I appreciate that. Now, at the outset of the programming, I mentioned about mitigating the risk of innovation, and in developing these prototypes, quite naturally, it's going to cost money. But to mitigate that risk of this particular product development failing, there is a tax incentive out there that's called research and development tax credits. You can ask your accountants or CPAs about this particular credit, wherein all the costs that are associated with the development of that product or process or whatever it is that you are developing, provided it meets the criteria, you can use those costs to help offset your tax liability. So I just wanted to put that out there. And having said that, uh, how much can you give us an idea of how much it costs to develop a prototype, to make a prototype?
So um, I don't like myself this answer, but it depends. Some prototypes can cost you 500. It's if it's simple 3D printed part. Others might cost you up to 150K if it's more complex conveyor type of system. What we have done, and I invite listeners to utilize this tool on our website, lanpdt.com, we can find a prototyping calculator. So we have a framework how we estimate costs. So a person can go on our website, answer 10 questions, and have at least a ballpark number on the cost of the prototype. So
Okay.
that would be my best advice for people to go and use that tool. So even like when they talk with other prototyping or product development companies, they will have an idea what it might cost them, kind of thing. And it's always a good idea to talk with several firms before marrying them or like setting up a partnership, because product development it's like a marriage. You work with your partner daily and nightly for about a year or two. And what is the most important is your product development partner can in some way read your thoughts, because not always you can explain your ideas well, and you just need to make sure that you're on the same page. As I always say, like when I say word table, like when I say you table, James, what type of table do you have in mind?
Oh, one with four legs on the top.
Yeah, but will it be a school table, a
No?
kitchen table, business table?
Okay. Put it in that in those terms. Yeah. Well. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, see that, and that was going to be my follow up question. There is, would that depend also on the type of prototype that you want to present to the public or a potential investor or whoever it is, whether it's a 3D model or whether you've actually built a crude model of yourself, whether it's a paper model, or would that depend heavily on the type of model that you want to put, or prototype that you want to put before your potential investors, the cost that is?
Yeah, so we usually, yeah, you're right, James. So based on our experience, our company usually work with people who want to manufacture. So they don't look for investors. They kind of know that they want to proceed with this idea and such. But you're right. So, and we always have this conversation. Before even investing in product development, you need to see your end goal, right? Why are you doing this? Just for fun? Do you want to build a business? Do you want to launch just an Amazon store? Will you go for investments? If you will go for investments, what type of stuff you will be looking for? Do you want to do a Kickstarter campaign? Do you want to license your idea? Right? I just listed 6 different routes people can take when they have an idea, right?
Mhm.
Each of these routes will require a different approach to prototyping and product development. So, um, for Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, we will need to have fully functioning prototype. If you will go with Indiegogo platform, to have a 3D model or virtual prototype will be sufficient. If you want to license your idea, most of the licensing partners will want to have a proof of concept prototype, meaning that it works. Preferably, you need to have a manufacturing and distribution aligned. Some other licensing companies, in rare circumstances, will not even need a 3D model or like virtual prototype. When it comes to investors, angels, family offices who just want to support inventors might be sufficed with just a 3D model or virtual prototype. If you're going more formal route and you want to go to funds who are more institutional, you must need to have at least functioning prototype, but preferably already manufactured product. So what I want to say is like, if not with us, do homework and create a roadmap of what uh, you want to achieve and how you will finance this idea. So start with the win in mind. Think big before you even start. And depending on your end goal, your vision, the type of prototype you need will be determined, kind of thing. Makes sense.
I see. Okay, so in other words, just over think big and then overestimate the amount of money you think you might need to build one. Is that
Yeah.
essentially?
So think big, and when you think big, think how you can get to that big vision, what you will need to do,
Mhm.
and based on that, you will decide which prototype you might need. Again, some of the investors will need just virtual prototype, meaning 3D models. Some investors will require your proof of concept prototype. Others will want to have a final product in hand.
Okay, good, good.
There is
And
no straight line. You might even think that you might need to have a virtual prototype, but then you will go back and build a fully functioning prototype. So it's entrepreneurship. It goes like this.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and to mention again, all the money that's spent in this is not lost money if you get with your CPA or your accounting firm or whoever you deal with, because there is some restitution for the money that you put into this. So it's not a lost cause. Um, Now, I'm an engineer, and I'm not very good with my hands. So if I came up with an invention, if I come up with a concept, I would need somebody outside of me to help me build a prototype because I'm just not good with my hands. I can draw everything up, tell you how it works, how it's supposed to work, etc. But I can't build myself. So in that case, I have to go out and find somebody to help me build this prototype. So now, how would you choose a prototyping partner? Somebody that's going to fabricate or manufacture this thing for you.
As I mentioned, you should choose your prototyping partner as your wife or husband. And I'm not even joking. The reason being, you start building long-term relationships, and you both need to think alike. If there is misunderstanding at the beginning, don't even think to engage. During the prototyping, you will have issues, you will have roadblocks, and the way you both, you and your partners, solve those might factor to your success. So, uh, talk with previous clients of that partner, of that company. Uh, Assess the technical approach. See how feasible timelines and costs are. Don't work with those who are too saley.
Mhm.
So when you think that a person or a company pushing a little bit too much, something should suspicion should be there. If a company tells you like it can be done fast, easy, guaranteed, there is nothing guaranteed in prototype. You're doing something for the first time. So these are just some points to consider. And always talk with several. So
Okay.
3 to 5, and just go by feel, go by references, go by feasibility of the approach they offer you.
Okay.
And think also about if they will be able to help you down the road. Manufacturing, maybe some marketing, maybe some um, investment funds, referrals. So, yeah, these are my thoughts on selecting a prototyping partner.
Okay. Good. Good advice. Now, you've been in the business for a good while. I take it, and I'm pretty sure you have developed a lot of different prototypes for a lot of different inventors or product developers. Now, in all of your workings, what have you observed as, say, some of the winning features or characteristics that makes a prototype an effective model for presentation to a potential investor, or say maybe even the patent office?
It should look, it depends. If you show, first of all, it should work. Let's put it this way.
Okay. Okay.
If your prototype don't work, go by video. Show a video. Show an animation. The least what you want is to go and make a presentation to the investors and partners and it fails. Not fun. So make sure it works. If it doesn't, get creative. Show a video, show I don't know, animation, 3D model, or come up with a joke to release the tension if it failed.
Mhm.
So yeah, it should work.
Okay.
That would be my, and if it doesn't, and the goal of your fund or presentation to raise money to improve it upon, show where it breaks and explain the vision if it will be done what it could do. So just a prototype will not do magic. It should be both like verbal,
Mhm.
story behind it, story of the future, and a prototype. So you two, founder and prototype, goes hand by hand.
I see. Yeah, I know it because I've actually had to present some prototypes for some inventors, and you're right. Making sure that it can work, make it as simple as possible, in my opinion. And then one thing that I found that was effective with this particular model, prototype was I could take it apart and show some of the workings of it, and put it back. It was a pretty simple invention, but it was a pretty applicable invention for today's society. But you're right about the simplicity, making sure that it works. And what I found out is even if the potential person that you're presenting it to, they can get up and use it and operate it and function it themselves. That's what I found to be most effective. But here again, practicality is key. Now, go back to your firm. What kind of prototypes does your firm concentrate on?
Being in business for over 8 years, we built all. So people come to us from simplest products to complex conveyor systems like automated restaurant equipment. Um, we are unique in a sense that we can work with electronic components. So we can build electronical devices in-house in Shreveport. That is a rare thing.
Hmm.
So uh, yeah. So but usually, right?
Hmm.
People want to have work like or both types from us because they already have like front end style or do it self prototype ready. So uh, usually we work on like
Do you
final prototypes. Yeah.
do you focus on maybe the mechanical and electrical mechanical because you have a mechanical
Yes.
background? Okay.
So
Those.
it's mechanical, it's electrical. We can do plastic, metal, ceramics, silicon, you
Mhm.
name it. So we have built again from small plastic devices to a huge automated restaurant equipment, which had conveyor systems, electronic mechanisms like displays to program automated like food delivery. So we have done it all. So
Okay.
right now we work on a safety device for railroad companies. So it will require like electronic, wireless communication, mechanical programming, app design. So it's like a huge IoT project.
I see. I see. So now you're close to that Dallas Fort Worth metro area. Do Do you deal with any, say, medical devices at all?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So we don't focus on like particular industry,
Mm,
but it's usually industrial application like oil field, railroad, HVAC, construction. Medical, it's usually medical tooling or like nurse tools or like special applications for plastic surgeons, dentists, and such. Um, Consumer products, we work on those a lot. Sometimes we work with researchers who, as yourself, can come up with a concept but need someone handy to actually build it and build it in a way it could be presented or used during studies. So, yeah.
okay. All right, good. That's good clarification. Now, I think you alluded to it earlier. I think it was a device for the railroad industry. But can you tell us about the latest product or project that you worked on and some of the elements that you leveraged on to make the product project successful?
Uh, I will go with a simple because I can't disclose too much about the safety
Oh,
device, but
okay.
uh, we are in the process of becoming the third corporation. What is that? Is a moment of pride because we will be recognized for our sustainability and social work. And the project I want to discuss is like a Vera bottle.
Hmm.
It's a bottle designed by a high school student who wanted to reduce amount of waste we leave on landfill by utilizing disposable forks, knives, spoons when we eat outside or inside. So it's a special bottle which, uh, like a metal bottle, which has very stylish and efficient utensils, and you can put your water into it. So, why this project was successful? Because we truly believed we were on the same page with the gentleman who worked on it. Uh, we worked a lot on making the 3D prototype stylish, so it will be user friendly, attractive to end users. So we kept in mind end users and those who will buy this product. During the prototyping, we initially made several prototypes to ensure that we will be able to distribute it to consumers for feedback. And also, we considered the cost of future manufacturing. So we built it in the design stage.
That's it.
And yes, I mentioned you need to make sure that your product development partner feels you, knows you, and kind of inspired as you are when it comes to working on your project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So finally, and this is one of the things that I've asked all of the participants in the podcast about your industry. What excites you most about the future of the prototyping industry, and what keeps you up at night when it comes to some of the major predicaments that you know that you're faced with?
AI.
AI, yeah, that's on everybody's mind.
Yeah. So soon, quite soon,
Mm,
amount of prototyping needed will be reduced. Speed to market will be expedited because it all will be done by AI within an hour. However, with the time we will live with one understanding that we need to take care of our Mother Earth, that we don't need to go by fast fashion. It should be sustainable fashion. It should be sustainable lifestyle. So even though the speed to market from idea to actual product will be fast, people will be hesitant to make a purchase. So uh, if you see what I'm saying, so
Yeah. I
it's a
think.
time we will need to find a balance and even make some type of constraints to products entering the market. Number one. Or two, we will live more in a world of customization. Custom products have more meaning to every single person, and custom products are less easy to dispose. You want to keep it, it's yours. So that would be another route which most likely will happen. That if I want to have my bag, but I want to have it in my design, with my name, with my company name, with my family picture. It all already happens, but it will be like I will not be able to buy it like simple at the store. It will be made for me because it will be that easy. Given again the quality of recent 3D printing products, it just blows your mind. So most of the 3D printed products look like actual final products. So yeah,
Yeah. Well.
everything will be faster, everything will be higher quality, but we need to think about quantity. How much more of waste our earth can handle? Not many. So we need to think, we as a product development people, uh, engineers as engineers, when they think through the materials they select for particular products or mechanisms, and consumers, we are all consumers. We need to think, do I actually need this additional thing, or can I reuse mine? So yeah.
Yeah. Well, AI for sure, and just to make sure, that we can keep it regulated, make sure that it doesn't get out of control.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm sure we could go on and on about this, but I think I really just have to bring this podcast to an end. I want to express my gratitude to Ms. Ulanova for sharing her expertise and insights in this particular area. And we are honored to have her on this particular podcast. I want to remind those watching to take this opportunity to learn from our guests and to strive to achieve their own goals and aspirations. Ms. Olanova, where can we find you for future reference?
So our website, you just can Google LA New Product Development Team. You can find me, and LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay. And I can be reached at or found at www.innovativesolutions.org. That's innovative with one N, no E. www.innovativesolutions.org. Thank you, Ms. Olanova, for your time. And
Thank you for having me.
thank you for watching. And we'll see you on the next podcast.
You've been tuning into We Solve Problems with your host, James D. Bennett II. Learn more about financial incentives to mitigate the risk to better your products at www.innovativesolutions.org, where you can find other episodes of this show. Thank you for your positive feedback, comments, questions, and for sharing this with others.